So my name's Lisa Paul. I'm the owner of the business, the Homeopathy Hub, and I work out of here at the Cottage, and I've been here for about 2 years. I do a mixture of modalities, so I don't just practice on one thing. I have quite a few things in my toolbox that I use. It really depends on the person coming in and what they're wanting, and sort of we work it out from the initial consult. Homeopathy has been around for about, over 200 years now. It was a practice that was developed many years ago by a pharmacist in Germany, and it's progressed over the years. We have a lot of remedies in our kits that we use. We usually do it through taking a whole case. So you've got to take a big case from somebody, and it's very, very detailed. So when you go to a doctor and you have your 15-minute consultation, I need an hour and a half of your time to really get the nitty-gritty of what your symptom picture is. So when I figure out what's going on for you, so we focus on what you're coming in with, what's the main complaint, and then we go out from there. So we go out and we go, okay, so what else is coming up? Like, what other symptoms do you have? And then from that, we look at the mental, emotional side of you, what's changed since you've been unwell. And then from that, we then go into, tell us what makes it better and worse. You know, when do you feel better? You know, what's your appetite like? What foods do you like? What things do you dislike? What's changed since you've been sick? And so it's that change that we prescribe on. So the remedies that we have, our remedies are very dilute, so they're quite strong. The more the dilution, the stronger they are. So it works in opposite to what you get from a medication. So where a medication you go higher in your dosing, it's stronger. We don't, we go higher in the potency and it's much stronger. So we have remedies that we use depending on whether it's a physical complaint, mental, emotional, or both. So we look at it from a whole total picture of what's going on. The remedy matches everything in the story that you're telling me. So it can be chronic problems, acute problems, pregnancy related problems. So I do a lot of women's health work, and I work a lot with pregnancy, babies, kids, adults. Homeopathy can treat pretty much anything. We can make a remedy pretty much out of anything. So it can be a plant, it can be a mineral, it can be an animal remedy. We can actually make it out of sarcodes and nosodes, which are things like we can make them from viral tissue and things like that. When you potentize it, you're taking the imprint of that particular thing you're exposing it to, and you're actually then making the remedy with that picture. So by the time you get a remedy, you don't have any actual physical thing that it's been exposed to left in the remedy, unless it's a very low potency. The higher you go, the more dilute it is, the more away from the crude substance it is. So then when we test it out, when we find a remedy, we test it out and we sort of go, okay, what symptoms are people experiencing when they take this? And that's what we use to build the picture around what that remedy is going to treat. When we do what we call a proving, and we take the remedy, there's a whole group of people who do it, and they record everything that changes when they're taking that, and that builds the picture of what this remedy is going to be able to treat. So we give a remedy to the closest of what someone is suffering. So when someone has cold and flu, we may give one person one remedy, and we may give someone something else that may be treating the similar kind of thing. I'm a registered counsellor, and I'm a clinical member of PACFA, which is our governing body for counsellors. And so I tend to work with mainly depression, anxiety, grief and loss, trauma. So I do a lot of that big work kind of stuff. I tend to get a lot of clients who have a lot of big work to do. And I use different modalities. So I can use internal family systems, EMDR for processing trauma. I can do a bit of CBT, a bit of DBT. There's a whole range of things that we can do, compassion focused therapy. It just depends on what's going to work for the person. So, and I do it on a case-by-case basis. So we have an initial consult, and I go through and I get a whole list of what's going on for you, when did all this start, what symptoms do you have, what are you doing at the moment that helps, and what do you need help with. And so sometimes people will do, I have big case and I need to work a long period of time with you, or I may just have a short case that I just need to get on top of this anxiety, get them back to a recovery mode, and then they can get on with their life. When you have deficiencies in some of your main nutrients that your body needs to function properly, it can also affect your mental health. Okay, so when we have very low B group vitamins, we have very low energy in our body. We also have what we call heavy metals, so which can be things like cadmium, it can be mercury, it can be aluminium, antimony, all of these kinds of things that we do a screening for to have a look to see what's going on. We can see then from the scan that I use what your main nutritions are in your body, what's deficient, and then we can look at your vitamins to see your core vitamins, which give me an indication of how well your liver's functioning at the moment and detoxing. Then we can look at your heavy metals to see what's going on there. Your heavy metals, when you've got very high heavy metals, can impact on your mental health, and it can also give you a lot of chronic physical problems as well. Acutonics is a really beautiful way of working with the frequencies of the planets. So our planetary system, whatever happens out there happens down here as well. So whatever's going on out there in the microcosm is happening on the macrocosm. The planets are actually designed, and they are also affiliated with different organ systems in the body. We combine that process with using Chinese medicine. So we use the acupuncture points, or we can use it through the chakra system. So we can actually do things through the energetic systems of that one. And we can also just go directly onto the point. So if you've got a pain in your knee or you've got swelling or anything, I can apply forks directly to the body. So we have 3 different ways of using it. The idea is to really open up the energy channels of the body to get the flow happening. When we have stagnation in the energy system, you're going to have physical problems that manifest from that. So when you can get the flow of the energy systems working properly, and that's through the different frequencies. So the body is 80% water. You put a frequency near a water, you'll see the ripples that flow on that. And that's what happens in the body. So it actually gets it into the cells and gets it moving and gets it working properly. You can pretty much treat a lot of things with acutonics. I can treat headaches, general pains, digestive problems, all of those, even menstrual problems. You can do some fertility clearing work with it as well. You can do detoxing with them as well. So, you know, people who have chronic constipation and stuff like that, you can run the points down the front of your legs, and that's going to help you, what we call the acutonics colonics. And that helps to shift things going through. I've had clients that I've worked with diabetes that I've actually managed to get rid of their peripheral neuropathy with it. And now we're working on the actual supporting of the spleen and also the pancreas and the liver to try and get the blood sugars to be more stable. So there's whole different methodology with it. The lovely thing is that all of the modalities I work with all work really well together as well. So, you know, so it's they all support each other in different ways. So, but the acutonics is really fabulous, and if anything, you will feel very relaxed after your first appointment. Whether you choose to have one appointment or you want to do a succession, you will feel very relaxed and your body will feel much better after you've had a treatment. If you have medication, or if you're being seen and you're being treated by medical professionals, that doesn't mean that you can't expand out into this work as well. They do actually work really well together. We can actually, even if you don't want to use this as your primary treatment, you can use it definitely as a supportive treatment. So I don't take people off medication. I don't do anything. That's up to your GP to do that. That's what they've prescribed. But I can prescribe you things that will support whatever you're trying to aim for to work with. You don't need a doctor referral to see me for any of those modalities that I've got. Health funds I can do with, there's a couple of health funds that I've got coverage with counselling, but not so much any of the other modalities. We don't have funding for that anymore. I would probably say, if you're going to come and have an appointment with me, you need to give me a call first, or you can actually book a session and just come in and just say, what do you want to have? What do you want to look at? What sort of modality do you want to work with here? People have a choice around what they're going to do to look after themselves.